When someone doesn't value you anymore, try this simple trick and watch what happens. When someone treats you as if you don't matter, remember the words of Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Have you ever noticed when someone stops valuing you and how much that stings? It feels unsettling, doesn't it? But what if I told you that there's a subtle, yet powerful shift you can make that will not only change how they see you, but also transform how you see yourself? Stick with me because this approach is about more than just attention. It's about regaining your own peace and self-worth. Welcome to Stoic in Your Life, where we blend ancient wisdom with modern challenges to help you thrive. In today's video, we'll explore what to do when you feel overlooked or unappreciated, and how one simple practice can reshape your interactions and strengthen your resilience. Ready to reclaim your value? Let's begin. 1. Reclaim your worth, the power of stepping back. When someone stops valuing you, your first instinct might be to try harder, to reach out more, to prove your worth by being even more available. It's a natural response, driven by the fear of loss and the hope of rekindling the connection. But here's the surprising truth. The most effective response is to do the exact opposite. The power lies not in giving more, but in giving less. By taking a step back, you create space. A space that makes the other person feel your absence and reconsider your place in their life. When something or someone is always available, it's easy to overlook their importance. Yet when that constant presence is removed, it forces others to notice the void they leave behind. This isn't limited to romantic relationships. It applies to friendships, family dynamics, and even professional interactions. You're always the one who initiates plans with friends. You reach out, make arrangements, and keep the connection alive. But one day, you decide to pull back and see what happens. Initially, there might be silence, and that can feel unsettling. However, over time, some friends will start to notice your absence and reach out to you. This moment is revealing. It shows who genuinely values your presence and who has been taking it for granted. This is not about playing games or creating drama. It's about shifting your energy from trying to be seen by others to truly seeing yourself and prioritizing your well-being. The essence here is self-focus and self-respect. It's about using your time to nurture yourself, pursue hobbies, develop new skills, and engage in activities that make you genuinely happy. When you redirect your focus inward, something transformative happens. You become more confident, independent, and resilient, qualities that naturally draw others to you. People are inherently drawn to those who exude self-assurance and aren't desperate for attention or validation. Here's a relatable scenario. You've likely heard stories of someone going through a breakup and choosing to invest time in self-improvement, whether that's hitting the gym, learning a new language, or taking up a creative project. What often happens? That newfound energy and confidence become magnetic. Sometimes the ex who didn't appreciate them before suddenly takes notice. But by that point, the person has grown so much that the dynamic shifts completely. This isn't about winning someone back. It's about gaining back your own sense of worth. The critical part of this process is understanding that stepping back isn't an act of retaliation or manipulation. It's setting an example of how you deserve to be treated and sending a clear message about your boundaries. Boundaries are essential for maintaining healthy relationships and self-respect. When you demonstrate that you respect yourself enough to set and uphold these boundaries, the people around you are forced to either respect those limits or walk away. This might sound harsh, but consider this. Is it better to maintain a relationship where you are undervalued, or to open the door for relationships where mutual respect and appreciation flourish? When you draw that line, you make a powerful statement. You're no longer passively accepting less than you deserve. You're actively shaping the kind of relationships you want. You show others that you won't chase their approval, and paradoxically, that makes them more likely to give it. Why? Because people instinctively value what they believe they could lose. It's human nature to take for granted what's easily accessible, and to appreciate more deeply what they fear might slip away. Think of the workplace scenario where an employee who constantly works overtime and says yes to every request might be seen as reliable, but not necessarily valued. Now, imagine that employee begins to set boundaries, leaving on time, saying no when it's reasonable, and taking time for themselves. Initially, this shift might surprise their colleagues or boss, but soon, that newfound respect follows. The workplace starts to see their time as valuable, and the employee's boundaries command respect. As you implement this in your own life, ask yourself, what are the relationships or situations where I'm overextending myself? Where have I let my value be diminished by my own efforts to maintain the connection? Reflecting on these questions can be eye-opening and help you identify where stepping back would create the most impact. Remember, this shift isn't a tactic, it's a mindset. You're not pretending to be busy or feigning indifference. You're genuinely investing in yourself. That's the key difference between trying to elicit a reaction and authentically living in a way that reflects your worth. When someone doesn't value you, the answer isn't to fight for their attention but to step back, create space, and focus on nurturing your own growth. When you do this, people will either recognize what they stand to lose or make way for those who will appreciate you for who you are. And regardless of their response, you win because you're in control of your narrative and your sense of value. 2. Keeping silent. Each of us wants to be respected and valued by the people around us, but let's be honest, this isn't always the case. Whether it's in relationships, friendships, or professional settings, there will come a time when someone doesn't see your worth or even disrespects you. It's a painful realization, and your initial reaction might be to confront them, defend yourself, or try to change their perception. But here's where ancient wisdom comes in to remind us. Epictetus once said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This insight holds the key to navigating moments when others fail to value you. Trying to convince someone of your worth or arguing to shift their perspective is, in truth, a battle already lost. Why? Because the more energy you spend on trying to change someone else's opinion, the more you show that their approval holds power over you. Is that how you want to define your worth? In a scenario where you're putting your all into a relationship, whether personal or professional, only to feel like your efforts go unnoticed or, worse, criticized. Your natural response may be to try harder, explaining your side or proving your value. But think about this. Does engaging in these efforts truly bring you peace or just fuel frustration? What if, instead of reacting, you chose silence and redirected your energy inward? Keeping silent isn't a sign of weakness or submission, it's a powerful stance. It communicates that you're confident enough not to engage in every battle, and wise enough to know which ones are worth your time. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Silence in the face of unwarranted criticism is not just a response. It's an art of holding your peace and protecting your mind. Now you might wonder, if I stay silent, won't they think I'm weak or that I don't care? The truth is, silence often speaks louder than words. When you choose not to respond to baseless negativity or criticism, you make a statement. You value your peace more than their approval. This quiet confidence makes you stand out as someone who is not easily swayed by the noise of others' opinions. This approach isn't just about maintaining dignity, it's about mastering the control you have over your reactions. In moments of silence, you give yourself space to reflect, grow, and strengthen your sense of self-worth, independent of external validation. When you're at work and a colleague makes a cutting remark or subtly undermines your effort, the temptation to fire back is strong, but what if you took a deep breath and chose to focus on your own path instead? The next time this happens, pause and think, does their opinion change the value of your contribution? Does it add or subtract from your worth? No, it doesn't. Seneca put it beautifully. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. In this case, craving approval or validation from those who don't value you makes you poorer in spirit. By choosing to remain silent and move forward with your own growth and goals, you are richer, more resilient, and ultimately more respected. Keeping silent and focusing on self-improvement shifts the energy from a negative cycle of argument and defensiveness to a positive one of growth and resilience. When you make this choice, you show yourself and others that you are secure in who you are. When you choose the latter, you naturally build an aura of independence and strength. This approach doesn't mean you should never stand up for yourself or express your views. It means knowing when doing so serves your peace, and when it only stirs unnecessary conflict. The next time you feel disrespected or undervalued, take a moment to pause. Instead of reacting immediately, practice keeping silent and assess whether the situation is worth your mental and emotional energy. Redirect that energy toward becoming a better version of yourself, learning a new skill, enhancing your work, or simply spending time with people who do value you. By doing this, you send a powerful, unspoken message. I know my worth, and I don't need your validation to confirm it. When faced with disrespect or undervaluation, silence can be your greatest ally. It shows that you are in control of your emotions and that you choose to protect your inner peace over winning an argument. As Epictetus reminds us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. This might sound counterintuitive, but it reinforces the idea that your growth doesn't rely on the opinions of others. So, when someone doesn't value you, instead of fighting to be seen, be still, be silent, and watch as your quiet strength speaks volumes. 3. Protecting your personal rights. Protecting your personal rights is a fundamental aspect of maintaining not just respect from others, but also self-respect. In moments when you face serious violations, whether in personal relationships, the workplace, or in any scenario that challenges your boundaries, it is essential to stand firm. This isn't just about engaging in conflict for the sake of winning. It's about safeguarding your dignity and ensuring that your personal space remains inviolable. The Stoics, who were masters of emotional resilience, teach us that our power comes from within, not from external circumstances. Marcus Aurelius once reflected, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote serves as a reminder that, while we cannot control the actions of others, we can control how we respond when those actions overstep boundaries and challenge our rights. Standing up for your personal rights often means confronting difficult situations that many would rather avoid, especially in later stages of life, when the inclination might be to seek peace over confrontation. But remember, asserting your rights does not mean inviting unnecessary strife. It means reinforcing your self-worth. When we allow violations to go unchecked, we send a silent signal that our boundaries are flexible and can be disregarded. This isn't just about legal battles or dramatic confrontations. It's about using all available resources, including legal means when necessary, to make clear that your rights are non-negotiable. The decision to protect your rights also cultivates a deeper sense of self-respect and growth. Seneca once advised, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." Defending your boundaries is part of that lifelong education. For men aged 40 to 70, this lesson carries even more weight. You have amassed life experiences, successes, and perhaps endured failures that have taught you resilience. It is these moments of standing firm that test not only your resolve but your understanding of what truly matters. Does allowing someone to cross your boundaries with impunity align with the standards you've set for your life? More importantly, what lessons are you teaching others, including your family or those who look up to you, when you choose to remain silent in the face of violations? Imagine a situation where your expertise in your field is questioned, or perhaps someone unfairly takes credit for your work. It might seem easier to let it go, to avoid confrontation and maintain superficial harmony. But at what cost? Every time you accept such behavior without asserting your rights, You chip away at your sense of self and invite further disrespect. The Stoic approach is not to rage or seek revenge, but to calmly, firmly, and decisively protect what is yours. Epictetus wisely said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." If you aspire to be someone who commands respect, then you must take the actions that align with that vision, even when they are uncomfortable. It is also crucial to understand that protecting your rights isn't just an individual endeavor. It has broader implications. When you stand up for yourself, you also set a precedent for how others in your community, workplace, or even within your circle of friends should act. This can inspire others to take similar steps to protect their own rights, creating an environment where respect becomes the standard. This is the essence of the Stoic lessons on leadership by example. True Stoicism is not about being passive in the face of adversity. It is about maintaining a composed yet unyielding stance in defense of what is right and just. This in turn contributes to your personal growth and resilience, as each act of defending your rights strengthens your inner character and reinforces your self-worth. The importance of setting boundaries and defending them cannot be understated. Doing so not only shields you from future transgressions but empowers you in other areas of life. Once you know that you can stand your ground in one aspect, such as protecting your rights at work or within a strained relationship, you find it easier to set and maintain boundaries in other areas. This holistic approach to self-respect feeds into your overall well-being, reducing stress and promoting a sense of control over your life. Marcus Aurelius captured this perfectly when he said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Defending your rights is a vital component of being the person you strive to be. Let's apply this in your daily life. Start by recognizing when your rights are being encroached upon. Take a moment to reflect on the Stoic principle of rational thought. Don't react impulsively, but instead choose your response with intention. Address the situation directly, clearly outlining your boundaries and what you expect going forward. Be prepared to take further action, whether it involves conversations with higher-ups, seeking mediation, or if necessary, engaging in legal channels. This isn't a show of aggression. It's a testament to your commitment to protect what is important. In the end, defending your rights is about living a life that aligns with your principles and values, knowing that your peace of mind and self-respect are worth the effort it takes to stand up for them. Remember, true strength lies not in how many battles you fight, but in knowing which battles are worth fighting and having the courage to stand firm. As you navigate this, let the wisdom of the Stoic teachings remind you. Your value is inherent, and when you protect your personal rights, you are not only defending yourself, you are affirming the strength and dignity of your character. 4. Ignore it and don't worry about it. When someone disrespects you, one of the most powerful moves you can make is to ignore their behavior and resist the urge to engage. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending you don't feel hurt. Instead, it's about stepping back, assessing the situation with a clear mind, and choosing the path that serves your peace and well-being. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Let this wisdom guide you in moments when disrespect comes your way. By not letting someone else's negativity pull you into an emotional whirlwind, you reclaim control and refuse to let their actions dictate your response. Think about a time when you reacted impulsively to someone's rudeness. Did it make you feel better or worse? Did it resolve anything, or did it just add fuel to the fire? More often than not, reacting immediately only escalates the situation and leaves you feeling drained. Ignoring disrespect isn't about weakness or passive acceptance. It's about protecting your mental space and maintaining your inner calm. It's choosing not to hand over your emotional power to someone who doesn't deserve it. At work, a colleague undermines your contribution in front of others. The initial sting might urge you to snap back, but consider the impact of simply pausing, breathing, and responding only when you're ready, if at all. By staying calm and disengaged, you show that their attempt to rattle you has failed. This isn't just about appearing unbothered, it's about truly being unbothered. When you ignore toxic behavior, you send a message. Your actions are not significant enough to disturb my peace. This quiet strength can be disarming and powerful. In modern life, we are constantly bombarded by opinions and actions that can unsettle us. Social media, in particular, amplifies this, where even strangers can throw comments that might make you feel less valued. The key here is not to let the noise of the world make you forget who you are. Remember, if you become overly concerned with the opinions and actions of others, you risk losing touch with yourself. You might start tailoring your behavior to please people who don't truly care about your well-being, which only drains your energy and erodes your sense of self-worth. Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you prioritize your peace over someone else's negativity, you reinforce your sense of self and remind yourself that your value isn't defined by external validation. Now you may wonder, does ignoring always mean walking away? Not necessarily. It means knowing when to disengage mentally and emotionally, even if you physically stay present. Sometimes this involves staying silent and not reacting, allowing the moment to pass without letting it affect your mindset. This approach protects your mental clarity and prevents unnecessary conflict that can escalate and disturb your day. Think of it as building a mental shield that deflects unwanted negativity before it can touch you. This is not easy, and it requires practice and patience. But with time, you can become adept at choosing when and how to respond in ways that uphold your dignity and peace. Consider the advice from Seneca, who noted, "He who is brave is free." In this context, bravery isn't about fighting every battle. It's about the courage to choose peace over the noise, to walk away from what doesn't serve you, and to stay centered amidst external chaos. A personal story may illustrate this. A close friend once shared how they dealt with a long-standing pattern of disrespect at family gatherings. Instead of arguing or trying to prove their point each time, they learned to respond selectively, engaging only when it was meaningful and stepping away when the conversation turned toxic. Over time, their lack of reaction shifted the dynamics. The people who used to provoke them realized they couldn't draw them into petty conflicts anymore, and the atmosphere slowly changed. This example shows that when you master ignoring what isn't worth your energy, you protect yourself from being pulled into cycles of negativity. Understanding that you have the choice to step back empowers you to regain control over how much influence others have over your emotions. Ignoring doesn't mean turning a blind eye to everything. It means being selective about what deserves your attention. Stoicism teaches that peace is an inner state cultivated by focusing on what you can control: your responses, your actions, and your attitude. This lesson encourages us to shift our attention from external chaos to internal serenity. Know that choosing not to engage with disrespect doesn't mean you'll never take action when necessary. If a situation crosses the line and requires a response, choose to do so from a place of calm confidence, not from immediate anger or hurt. This measured approach ensures that when you do act, it is impactful and aligns with your self-respect. Ultimately, protecting your peace means understanding that not every action requires a reaction. It is about preserving your mental well-being and living a life that isn't dictated by others' opinions or behavior. Remember, as Epictetus said, we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. So when someone disrespects you, take a breath, decide what's worth your energy, and hold on to your peace. It's one of the most valuable things you own. We'd love to hear from you. What's one way you focus on self-improvement when faced with negativity? Comment below with, "I choose growth over reaction." Let us know. 5. Focus on life and self-improvement. When faced with people who do not respect you, one of the most powerful things you can do is to shift your focus inward, dedicating your time and energy to self-improvement. It might sting when someone disregards you or treats you as insignificant, and it's natural to feel hurt or even angry. But stepping into direct conflict with them only showcases impulsiveness and the lack of careful thought. Instead, the most effective way to change the narrative isn't by fighting fire with fire, but by working on yourself and channeling your energy toward your personal growth and goals. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury," reminding us that rising above petty behaviors speaks louder than any argument ever could. When someone disregards or disrespects you, they often do so because they don't perceive you as a threat or believe you to be inconsequential. Engaging in a verbal or emotional confrontation only reinforces their assumptions, but what if you took a different approach? What if, instead of responding with heated words, you chose to focus on building a better version of yourself? This doesn't mean that the sting of disrespect doesn't affect you, nor that you are oblivious to the psychological impact of their actions. It means choosing to channel those emotions into something productive, turning potential weakness into strength. Have you ever wondered why some of the most successful and confident individuals seem bothered by petty slights? It's because their vision is set on a horizon far beyond such minor distractions. Self-improvement in this context becomes not just an act of personal betterment, but a way to avenge disrespect in a dignified manner. Instead of seeking immediate satisfaction through reactive arguments, you build a future where your growth and achievements speak volumes. Over time, as you develop confidence, strength, and capability, those who once disrespected or underestimated you may start to worry or even regret their actions. But by then, the irony is that their opinions will no longer hold any power over you. You'll find that as you focus on your own journey, their influence diminishes, and their petty behaviors become insignificant against the backdrop of your larger life goals. Seneca put it best, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." The more you crave their acknowledgement or validation, the more you give them power. The moment you shift focus to yourself, that power returns to you. A modern example that encapsulates this lesson can be found in the story of Gujia from Only 30. After facing betrayal by her husband and being provoked by his mistress, she didn't let herself get swallowed by bitterness or engage in endless conflict. Instead, she turned her energy toward her career and future, navigating challenges with grace. Despite the pain, she found a way to rebuild her life, living with peace and happiness. This kind of resilience proves that respect is not merely handed out by others. It is something you earn through your actions and the way you handle adversity. When you channel your efforts into bettering yourself, you create an unshakable foundation that others can't help but notice. Have you considered what areas of your life you'd like to improve if you weren't spending so much time worrying about others' attitudes toward you? Maybe it's your health, learning a new skill, or pursuing a long-held passion that's been put aside. The beauty of focusing on self-improvement is that it not only builds your confidence, but also enriches your life in ways that surpass the initial hurt you may have felt. You become someone who isn't just surviving others' opinions but thriving in spite of them. Epictetus reminds us, "No man is free who is not master of himself." By redirecting your energy from reacting to others to mastering yourself, you claim a freedom that can't be taken away by anyone's fleeting judgment. As you grow and your world expands with new experiences and achievements, the small, petty actions of others will begin to feel trivial. You'll reach a point where you understand that your self-worth isn't tied to someone else's momentary opinion, but to the long-term respect you've built through perseverance and self-investment. The deeper you commit to your growth, the less space there is in your mind for worry or confusion triggered by others' behavior. Life becomes about your journey, your peace, and your fulfillment. Respect isn't only about what others give you. It's about what you earn through your actions, your growth, and how you choose to respond to life's challenges. As you focus on becoming stronger and more confident, the opinions that once seemed significant will shrink in comparison to the new reality you've created. In doing so, you cultivate a life where you stand tall not because others put you on a pedestal, but because you built that foundation yourself. And that, ultimately, is where true power lies. 10 signs that indicate someone does not respect you. Respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you, grows you, or makes you happy. These words from Robert II ring true when it comes to understanding the boundaries that define how we allow others to treat us. Next, we're diving into a topic that impacts self-worth and personal strength. 13 signs that indicate someone does not respect you. Recognizing when someone disrespects you is more than just a way to protect your ego. It's a fundamental step in ensuring your relationships are built on mutual value and trust. While respect may be subtle, often hidden behind gestures or words, we'll unravel these critical signs so you can identify them early, safeguard your well-being, and reclaim your confidence. 1. They don't acknowledge your efforts. One of the most telling signs that someone doesn't respect you is their refusal to acknowledge your efforts. Let's pause for a moment and ask ourselves, am I truly being appreciated for what I contribute? Respect isn't just shown through grand gestures. It can often be found in the small moments when someone genuinely recognizes your hard work. Unfortunately, people who lack respect may not only dismiss your efforts, but could also go as far as to take credit for your achievements. It's painful and disheartening when your energy and dedication go unnoticed, or worse, are stolen for someone else's gain. In modern workplaces or social circles, this kind of behavior is more common than we'd like to admit. Picture a scenario where you spend weeks preparing for a project, pouring your late nights and weekends into perfecting every detail. The day of the presentation arrives, and while you deliver your part seamlessly, a colleague later swoops in, subtly taking credit or sidestepping any mention of your role. It stings, doesn't it? Acknowledgement is the cornerstone of mutual respect, and when that's missing, it's a clear signal that the relationship is out of balance. But how do you handle it when you're constantly overlooked? First, remind yourself that your worth is not defined by someone else's recognition, or lack thereof. Make it a habit to jot down your accomplishments and the strengths that make you unique, not just for self-validation, but as a tangible reminder of your value. When you've successfully led a team, mentored someone, or solved a challenging problem, take a moment to appreciate it yourself. Documenting these successes not only boosts your self-esteem, but also equips you with facts when you need to advocate for yourself. When you decide to confront the issue, choose a time when emotions aren't running high and speak with clarity. A simple, assertive conversation might sound like, "I've noticed that my contributions haven't been acknowledged, and it's important to me that we recognize collaborative work fairly." Have you ever noticed that when someone respects you, they're quick to offer praise or acknowledge your role without being prompted? Think back to mentors or colleagues who made you feel valued. What did they do differently? The contrast is striking and reveals how respect should be given naturally, not withheld as a tool of power or control. Now, if you feel compelled to stay silent out of fear of causing tension, remember this. Silence often validates the behavior. Speaking up not only helps assert your boundaries, but encourages growth in how you're treated going forward. Ultimately, the lesson here is about self-awareness and courage. Knowing when you're not being respected is just the first step. Deciding to stand up for yourself completes the process. In these moments, remember that respect starts with how you value yourself. If others fail to see your worth, make it known. This isn't just about confronting others. It's about nurturing your own self-esteem, setting boundaries, and fostering environments where your contributions are recognized and appreciated. 2. They don't keep their promises. One clear sign that someone may not respect you is when they frequently fail to keep their promises. Think about it. How many times have you heard the phrase, "I promise," only to be left waiting, disappointed, and wondering if your time matters to them at all? While it's true that life is busy and even the most well-intentioned people sometimes struggle to meet commitments, there is a difference between occasional forgetfulness and a consistent pattern of broken promises. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." When someone makes a promise, they're giving you their word, a bond that should mean something. But when those promises are repeatedly broken, it becomes more than just an inconvenience. It reflects their disregard for your time, feelings, and trust. In your own life, have you ever had a friend or colleague who habitually agreed to help you, attend an event, or meet a deadline, only for them to back out at the last minute without valid explanation? It feels disheartening, doesn't it? It leaves you questioning whether your relationship is built on mutual respect or if you're merely being taken for granted. Broken promises chip away at the foundation of any relationship, be it personal or professional, and signal that the respect you deserve may be absent. While some may argue, "Oh, they're just busy," there's a fine line between being busy and simply not prioritizing you. Ask yourself, is my time and trust less valuable to them than their other commitments? Addressing this behavior takes both courage and clarity. Open up an honest dialogue where you can express how these broken promises impact you. For example, you might say, "I've noticed that commitments we've discussed often aren't kept, and I'm feeling like my time and trust aren't being valued. Could we talk about why this might be happening?" This approach opens the door for conversation without placing immediate blame and gives the other person a chance to explain their side. However, be prepared to hear difficult truths or even face denial. Remember that how they respond tells you a lot about their respect for you. It's also vital to acknowledge that continually accepting excuses or downplaying how these broken promises affect you can signal that their behavior is okay. Seneca wisely pointed out, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." If someone consistently fails to respect their word to you, you must decide how much of your time you're willing to let slip by unacknowledged or unappreciated. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, a declaration that your time is as valuable as anyone else's. When broken promises become a norm, it's essential to reassess the relationship's health. Are you willing to let repeated disappointments become an accepted part of your connection with them? Or is it time to advocate for the respect and honesty you deserve? If you find that conversations don't lead to change, it may be time to rethink the relationship. As you navigate these situations, hold on to the lesson that your time and trust are not just gifts but investments that deserve reciprocation. 3. They only reach out when they need something. One of the most telling signs that someone does not respect you is when they only reach out when they need something. Think about it. Do they make an effort to be part of your life when there's nothing in it for them? Or do they vanish when things are going well for you, only reappearing when they seek a favor? This behavior can be deeply frustrating and disheartening, revealing an imbalance in the relationship. As Epictetus once observed, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. When people only engage with you out of self-interest, it's a reflection of what they desire, not who they value. This pattern of behavior often exposes a person who sees others not as friends or equals, but as means to an end. Think about relationships you may have where the interactions seem more like transactions than genuine connections. Do you find yourself being the one who always gives, whether it's advice, support, or time, while the other person rarely reciprocates without an ulterior motive? It can feel like a drain on your emotional resources, leaving you with a nagging sense that your worth to them is conditional. And let's be honest, everyone deserves more than that. You might care deeply for these individuals, rooting for their successes and being there during their trials, but if they disappear when there is no immediate benefit for them, it's time to question their respect for you. This Stoic lesson calls us to value our relationships by their mutual growth and support, not by the frequency with which one side takes and the other side gives. When someone's calls or messages come only during their times of need, don't be afraid to step back and reassess. Does this person ever check in just to see how you're doing? Or do they only appear when there's a favor to ask? Seneca wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." This advice is timeless, highlighting that the relationships we foster should be sources of encouragement and growth, not exhaustion and disappointment. It's essential to learn the art of pushing back, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. If someone's demands on your time become excessive, assertively let them know that while you value their presence, Your time and support should be met with genuine friendship, not conditional contact. You can say something as simple as, "I notice that we only seem to talk when there's a need for something. I'd love for us to have more balanced interactions." Such conversations can be uncomfortable but are often necessary for clarity. Let me ask you, how often do you feel fulfilled by the relationships where the dynamic is one-sided? Recognizing these patterns and making changes isn't about cutting people off. It's about nurturing relationships that respect you and enrich your life. This approach aligns with Stoic teachings, reminding us that our energy is precious and should be shared with those who genuinely value us. By understanding these Stoic lessons, we build a life where our relationships mirror respect and mutual support, fostering an environment where we grow stronger, not just more needed. 4. They ignore you. When someone consistently ignores you or pulls off disappearing acts, it's often a sign that they don't truly value the relationship. This kind of behavior can be confusing and deeply unsettling, especially when we, as humans, are inherently social beings who thrive on connection. If you find yourself feeling anxious or upset due to someone's distance, know that these emotions are valid and natural. But what should you do when faced with this behavior? It's essential to ask them directly what's going on. There could be an underlying reason for their actions that they haven't communicated, or perhaps they are indeed choosing to distance themselves intentionally. Either way, silence does nothing but breed tension and misunderstanding. When you make plans with a friend or reach out to someone important in your life, only to be met with radio silence. Days pass, and while your logical mind may try to find excuses, they must be busy, or maybe they're going through something. The reality is that repeated avoidance chips away at trust. Open up with calm, honest communication that highlights how their behavior makes you feel. Saying something like, "I texted you the other day to confirm our plans but didn't get a response. I felt disappointed and started to worry about you," shifts the conversation from accusatory to open, inviting dialogue. It shows that you care enough to express your feelings while making it clear that their absence hasn't gone unnoticed. But what if their response doesn't bring clarity, or worse, they continue to ignore you? It's time to ask yourself some hard questions. Is this relationship one-sided? Do you deserve more respect and presence than you're currently getting? Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, advised, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." In this context, that means recognizing your own worth and taking action that aligns with self-respect. If the relationship continues to feel one-sided or leaves you feeling overlooked, setting boundaries might be your next step. Limit your emotional investment in interactions with someone who doesn't reciprocate the value you bring. Life is too short to invest your energy in relationships that don't give back or make you feel valued. Take action, speak your truth, and if necessary, step back. Your emotional health is as important as any external relationship, and maintaining it means ensuring that those who stay in your life show up as fully as you do. If you're still with me, it means you're ready to claim the respect you deserve. Let's build a community of self-worth. Comment, "Respect starts with me," below to show you're stepping into your power. And don't miss what's coming next. It's all about owning your value. 5. They don't pay attention to you. When someone doesn't pay attention to you, it sends a clear and disheartening signal that they may not respect you. We've all experienced moments where a friend, colleague, or partner seems more invested in their phone or the TV than in what you're saying. It's frustrating, isn't it? Respect isn't just about grand gestures. It's found in the moments where someone stops what they're doing, looks you in the eye, and genuinely listens. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If those around you consistently treat your words as background noise, what does that tell you about their thoughts and the value they place on your presence? Listening is one of the simplest yet most profound acts of respect, and when it's absent, it's hard not to feel diminished. Think about the last time you were trying to share something important, but the other person was distracted, barely acknowledging your words. Did you feel respected in that moment? Or did you walk away feeling overlooked and frustrated? These interactions add up, and over time, they can erode your confidence and sense of connection. For some, it might be a habit they're not aware of, but that doesn't mean it should be overlooked. Open, honest communication can bridge this gap. If you find that someone you care about is constantly multitasking or avoiding eye contact, set expectations for your conversations. Let them know that you value meaningful interaction and are willing to wait until they're fully present. For colleagues or superiors, consider saying something like, "I see you're busy and I don't want to interrupt your focus. Could we schedule a time to talk?" This shows respect for their time while also making clear that your conversation deserves full attention. With friends or partners, the approach can be more personal yet just as essential. You could say, "I really enjoy spending time with you, and I want us to make the most of it. How about we set our phones aside during dinner?" Simple statements like these convey your desire for genuine connection without sounding accusatory. Stoicism teaches us to control our response to external events, but it also reminds us that we have the right to express what we need for a balanced relationship. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This timeless wisdom underlines the importance of listening not just as a skill, but as a sign of mutual respect. When you notice someone isn't paying attention, don't stay silent. Address it calmly, express your needs, and see if they're willing to make a change. If not, it might be time to evaluate how much energy you're investing in someone who doesn't value what you have to say. Respect is reflected in the small moments when someone chooses to truly be with you, undistracted and engaged. Life is short, and your time and words are worth being heard. Surround yourself with people who understand that and be that person for others too. 6. They interrupt you often. When someone interrupts you frequently, it's a clear and undeniable sign of disrespect. Consistent interruptions suggest that the person values their own voice more than yours and believes their thoughts hold more weight than yours. This behavior erodes trust and silences meaningful dialogue. As men aged 40 to 70, many of you have weathered professional meetings and personal conversations where being cut off mid-sentence leaves you feeling unimportant or dismissed. Respect should never be a negotiation, and your words and ideas deserve the space to be heard and understood. Marcus Aurelius, in his Stoic wisdom, once said, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable." Maintaining composure and asserting the value of your voice exemplifies this strength. Interruptions, especially in the workplace, can stifle creativity and hinder productivity. If you're constantly interrupted, it can feel like your ideas are pushed aside before they have a chance to take root. One effective strategy to reduce this behavior is to set the stage for your discussions. Begin a meeting by clearly outlining your points and when feedback will be welcomed. You might say, "I want to present my thoughts on the bamboo forest project, and will open the floor for questions afterward." This sets a respectful boundary while emphasizing that feedback is valuable at the right time. This Stoic lesson underscores the importance of preparation and structure, which can fortify your presence in any setting. In personal relationships, interruptions often carry more emotional weight. They can subtly chip away at the mutual respect that forms the foundation of strong partnerships or friendships. If you find yourself being interrupted often, approach the topic with calm and direct communication. You could say, "Sometimes I notice that I'm not able to finish my thoughts before being interrupted. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but it feels frustrating when I can't share fully." This way, you're not attacking the person, but expressing how their actions impact you. To create an environment that prioritizes listening, suggest a guideline for group conversations. Let's try focusing on listening during our talks so everyone gets a fair chance to speak. Such guidelines reflect the Stoic principle that true wisdom often begins with active listening. Now think about how many times you've been cut off during an important story or while giving advice. How did that make you feel? perhaps undervalued or even hesitant to share again. This is where a stoic approach shines through. While it's crucial to control our reactions, it's also important to stand up for our dignity. Epictetus reminds us, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Use this as a reminder not just for others, but for yourself. Foster a culture of mutual respect and attentive listening in all areas of your life. Interruptions are not just rude, they erode the essence of respect that every relationship, personal or professional, is built on. When faced with frequent interruptions, don't just let them slide. Speak up with poise and set boundaries that encourage open, respectful dialogue. The lesson here is that maintaining your self-worth requires assertiveness, blended with understanding. Remember, the power of communication lies not only in speaking, but in ensuring that others listen. Take this stoic wisdom forward in your interactions. Speak with conviction, invite listening, and know when to pause, reflect, and protect the space you deserve to express yourself fully. 7. They dismiss you and your opinions. If you ever find yourself in a situation where your opinions and thoughts are frequently dismissed, take it as a serious sign of disrespect. This can manifest in subtle, nonverbal cues like eye-rolling, smirking, or more overt acts of talking over you and disregarding your input. It's frustrating, isn't it? Being treated this way can make you question the value of your ideas, but let me remind you, your opinion has inherent worth. In moments like these, it's essential to hold your ground and assert the significance of what you're saying. In a moment in your life or work, when you spoke up with an idea that was quickly brushed aside. Maybe you were in a team meeting sharing a thought that could solve a problem, but someone dismissed it with a casual shrug or even a smirk. It stings, doesn't it? This kind of behavior isn't just rude, it chips away at your confidence over time. But here's the key. Don't let it. Repeat your point, reinforce it with reasons, and show the merits of your idea confidently. You might say, "I believe this will work, and here's why." It aligns with what we've done successfully before. In doing so, you remind both yourself and others that your voice deserves to be heard. Now, how do you navigate this when it happens in front of others? When people openly dismiss your ideas, it's easy to feel put on the spot. Instead of backing down, lean into your strengths and past achievements. Mention how your approach or insight proved valuable before, saying something like, "I exceeded expectations on our last project, and I believe we should give this approach a try." This not only affirms your point, but subtly reinforces your credibility. Stoicism teaches us to stand resilient in the face of dismissal. After all, Epictetus noted, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." By projecting self-assurance, you remind others that your ideas aren't just suggestions, they're contributions worth taking seriously. In our fast-paced modern life, where meetings and conversations blend into a constant churn of voices, being heard requires both patience and a willingness to assert yourself. Respect isn't handed out, it's often earned by demonstrating that you won't be overlooked or silenced. So, when faced with dismissive behavior, take it as an opportunity to remind not just others, but yourself, that your ideas matter. The ultimate lesson here is to stay rooted in your self-belief. Stand firm, project confidence, and don't allow anyone's reaction to make you shrink. Your opinion and experiences bring unique value, and while others may not always immediately recognize that, it's up to you to ensure they do. This is one of those stoic lessons that proves timeless. Value your voice, respect your contributions, and don't shy away from reasserting your worth when challenged. So next time someone dismisses you, remember, are you willing to let that moment define your voice? Or will you choose to reinforce the value you know you bring? 8. They don't respect your boundaries. When someone disregards your boundaries, it's a clear indication that they do not respect you. Respectful people understand the meaning of a firm no and accept it without pushing further. But disrespectful individuals often test your limits, sometimes in subtle ways like scheduling events when they know you're unavailable, or making remarks that cross personal lines. Have you ever felt pressured into attending something even after explaining why you couldn't? Or maybe someone's offhand comments have left you feeling uncomfortable, but they brush it off as a joke? These moments are not trivial. They reveal how much respect, or lack thereof, someone holds for you. As Epictetus wisely said, know first who you are and then adorn yourself accordingly. This Stoic lesson is a reminder that knowing your worth includes understanding and upholding your boundaries. It's crucial to assert your needs and clearly communicate your limits even when it feels uncomfortable. Boundaries are there for a reason. They protect your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. At work, this could mean communicating your current responsibilities and suggesting solutions that don't compromise your workload. You might say, I appreciate the opportunity, but I can't take on that project right now because I'm focused on launching the new product line. Can we revisit this next week? This approach not only reinforces your boundaries, but also shows that you're thoughtful about your work and proactive about finding solutions. It's a Stoic approach to protect your energy without closing the door to future opportunities. In your personal life, expressing boundaries with sincerity yet firmness can be even more significant. Perhaps you've experienced a friend or family member who insists on plans despite knowing you're exhausted or stretched thin. Addressing it with honesty is vital. I'd love to spend more time together, but I'm really too tired this week. How about we plan something for next week? This ensures you're taking care of yourself while still showing consideration for the relationship. When you set boundaries and others continue to push against them, it's a clear sign they value their own needs over yours. Boundary setting is an act of self-respect, and standing by those boundaries teaches others how to treat you. Seneca once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This Stoic lesson reinforces that being in control of your own decisions, including saying no, is what leads to true freedom. If someone consistently ignores your limits, they are not showing you respect. They are showing that their desires come first. This is where you must decide whether you're willing to continue engaging with someone who dismisses what matters to you. Never be afraid to advocate for yourself. Communicate openly, maintain your boundaries, and understand that you deserve relationships and work environments that respect those limits. Life is full of demands, but your peace of mind and self-respect are non-negotiable. 9. They belittle you. A key indicator that someone lacks respect for you is when they belittle you, using words or actions that demean your dignity and erode your sense of worth. This behavior often manifests in subtle, biting comments or overt insults designed to undermine your confidence. Whether it occurs in the workplace, within your social circles, or even in personal relationships, this conduct signals a disregard for your value as a person. It's critical to address such behavior with clarity and firmness. A calm yet assertive response like, "I don't appreciate being spoken to like that. Please stop," can often serve to set boundaries. Boundaries, after all, are not just walls, but the architecture of self-respect, built to protect your peace and enforce the treatment you deserve. Should this happen in a professional setting, taking steps to report the behavior to HR or a supervisor ensures that the issue is documented and handled appropriately. The Stoics teach us that our response to external insults reveals much about our inner strength. Epictetus, for instance, reminds us, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This emphasizes that while others may choose to act disrespectfully, we have the power to maintain our composure and refuse to be dragged down by their behavior. By calmly and assertively calling out such actions, you send a powerful message, not just to the offender but to yourself, that your dignity is non-negotiable. In modern life, where professional and social hierarchies often blur boundaries, belittlement can come cloaked in sarcasm or disguised as humor. A coworker might dismiss your ideas in meetings with a derisive comment, or a friend might consistently make you the butt of their jokes. These actions, though seemingly minor in isolation, can accumulate into a pattern of disrespect that chips away at your confidence. Recognizing and addressing these instances is an essential Stoic lesson in safeguarding your integrity. The Stoic principle of distinguishing what is within your control and what is not is vital here. While you cannot control others' actions, you can control your reaction and insist on respectful treatment. Tolerating belittlement sets a dangerous precedent, not only for how others treat you but for how you perceive yourself. By addressing disrespect head-on, you cultivate the Stoic virtue of courage, which Seneca praised as vital for navigating life's challenges. "No man is free who is not master of himself," he observed, underscoring that true freedom lies in refusing to allow others' negativity to define your worth. It's also important to remember that standing up for yourself doesn't mean escalating conflicts, but rather demonstrating that your self-respect outweighs the need to avoid discomfort. In the end, the choice to allow or confront disrespect reflects your inner resolve. Living by Stoic lessons means recognizing that respect is not merely something you receive, but something you command, by embodying dignity and self-worth. When someone belittles you, they reveal more about their character than yours. Your response, however, defines who you are, a person of principle, resilience, and unwavering self-respect. Keep this truth at the forefront of your interactions and let it guide you in crafting a life rooted in honor and the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Made it to the end? That means you're serious about recognizing your worth. Prove it. Drop no more disrespect in the comments to let the world know you're done settling. Stick around. We're just scratching the surface of what's possible. 10. They get angry with you. When someone consistently gets angry with you, especially in ways that feel aggressive or dismissive, it's a clear sign of disrespect. Healthy relationships, whether professional, personal, or social, are not built on yelling, coercion, or threats. While anger is a natural emotion, it must be expressed constructively, not as a weapon to blame or belittle. Think about how often this dynamic plays out in real life. A boss who unfairly lashes out when stressed, a friend who explodes over minor disagreements, or even a partner who deflects their frustrations onto you. A friend gets upset because you didn't respond to their text immediately. Instead of communicating calmly, they lash out, accusing you of not caring about them. In such a moment, staying calm becomes your superpower. Responding with equal anger escalates the conflict, but maintaining composure allows you to steer the interaction. A helpful approach might be acknowledging their feelings with a question like, "Are you upset because you thought I ignored you?" This shows empathy without conceding to disrespect. If their anger persists or becomes abusive, you have every right to set a boundary, like calmly saying, "I can't continue this conversation while you're yelling." By standing firm yet respectful, you uphold your dignity while giving them the opportunity to reflect on their behavior. The Stoics remind us that we must remain in control of ourselves, regardless of the chaos around us. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The lesson here is simple but profound. You can't control someone else's anger, but you can control how you respond to it. If the disrespect becomes a pattern, however, it's essential to take action. You deserve relationships where you feel valued and safe, not ones where fear or frustration dominate. Walk away from those who persistently disregard your boundaries, knowing that others will honor and respect you. Thank you for taking the time to listen and reflect with me on the signs of disrespect in relationships. I hope these insights not only help you recognize these behaviors, but also empower you to protect your worth and stand firm in the respect you deserve. Life is a journey of constant learning and growth, and how we respond to disrespect is an opportunity to become stronger and build a more resilient version of ourselves. So, what do you think? Did any of the stories or advice resonate with you? Don't hesitate to share your thoughts, your own experiences, or even ask questions so we can continue this conversation together. Remember, every moment you choose to respect yourself, you not only affirm your own value, but also inspire others to do the same. I can't wait to see you in the next episode, where we'll dive deeper into Stoic lessons and explore how to use them to craft a life of meaning and purpose. Stay strong, and may you always find peace within yourself.